This is Joelle. That was quite interesting.
All these years of touring.
Yeah, she helped out.
I'm Lady.
His daughter was Joelle's best.
So this time, I'm honored to present this diploma to you.
Thanks all of you.
And said I'd like to come back, never thinking I would, but I did. And I love it. The people have been wonderful. Everybody just been great here to me. And I wish the best for all of them.
Thank you very much.
Her life in Sykesville, Pennsylvania, Dunkirk, New York, and then eventually ended up in Buffalo, New York, where Aunt Mary was the oldest of 5 sisters. She unfortunately had to quit school after the 8th grade to help with family finances because her father had been killed in a coal mining accident. So she had to take care of the family and do the work. She ended up taking care of her mother for her entire life. And Aunt Mary worked. And what job did they tell you that you couldn't stay at because the men were home from the war?
From what?
The job where they told you the Bell Aircraft?
Oh, yeah, Bel Air.
She had worked there and had been very, very successful, and when the war was over, they told her that she couldn't keep her job anymore because the men were now home and they needed to be breadwinners. Now, even though she was the breadwinner for her entire family, she had to lose her job. And she persevered and went on to work at the piano factory, where she proceeded to walk to work every day. And you're talking Buffalo, New York here. You're talking snow and blizzards and ice and cold. And she either walked or took the bus to work every day. And we called her a woman of the 90s before we knew what it was to be a woman in the 90s, because she had her own home. She was the matriarch of many, many of us. My father has 4 brothers and sisters, and there's...
Yes, I practically raised them all.
Yes, she did. And she became my grandma. My father's mother died when I was a toddler, so Aunt Mary became Jeff's and my grandma, and helped us learn to write and read. We played cooties with her all the time. She'd get down on the floor with us and play. And I believe the real reason she's lived to be 100 is she doesn't have a lot of the stressors that most of us have. She was never married. Had no children to raise on a daily basis. Never drank, hardly, very little, a few sips of medicinal stuff for a cold. And worked and made her own decisions and took care of her own life. And she retired a very, very successful woman at the age of, well, there you go. We'll let her write the facts. And she moved to Hiawassee about 12 years ago.
What?
You moved to Hiawassee about 12 years ago. And I used to own the building on the corner of Main Street and Hiawassee Mountain Estates, and Aunt Mary would walk from her home about a quarter of a mile from there, and she'd come and have coffee with myself and our agents, and then she would walk to United Community Bank and do her banking.
She would walk to Dr. Hayes' office and over to the hospital with Howard.
Yeah, she wouldn't let us drive her. You know, everybody was watching her out the windows, making sure it was okay, but she was a very independent woman. She said, I gotta keep walking or it'll be bad for me. So she has always taken care of herself and been very healthy.
It was all hills.
It was hills. That's where you were.
Hills.
So we're very, very, very proud of her. Very proud of her, and we thank you all very much for this. I know several of you are
I'm
still.
very proud of my nieces and nephews.
She used to bend over and touch the floor.
She could probably still do it. Yes, I can't. My dad can't. But Mary bend over and touch the floor. She'd say, see what good shape I'm in, and she.